What's up YouTube, Mr. LMSC here, and welcome to another video around Diablo 4 and potential controversy or things of that nature. Now, I am here to actually potentially throw some trust over to Blizzard and the Diablo team, despite potentially what some of these survey pieces and things leaks show. Because is this real? Is this really exactly what they're intending? Is it just something that some marketing person threw in there but the devs will never do? There's a lot of things. Now you might be going, what are you talking about, Llama? And well, let's just dive on into this bad boy.
I have to start
right
today's
here.
episode with a
This is, by the way, Bellular News. Bellular News is going
very
into
simple
the
question.
gossip.
Do you, dear viewer, believe that Bobby Kotick, if he could, would try to sell you some more stash space in his #1 action RPG, Diablo 4?
Of course not. They wouldn't do that.
If so, then I have a fairly interesting thing that's been leaked to me you may be kind of interested in finding out about. Now, in addition to that, we're also seeing a few trends going on.
I'm a little disappointed that nobody sent me these surveys, by the way. So, survey people
In the industry. Funny enough, some of them do have to do with Activision Blizzard as well. But I think in a world of live service games, get ready for companies to do everything they can do to make new types of bundles. We'll be living in a world where, yes, you do find the premium currency store that is sitting there, but the truth of it is indeed that the premium currency store exists not to sell you currency, no. It exists to sell whales card. Our avid roll dev is fun.
All right,
And
let's get to the actual
talk about
stuff.
Diablo 3. So, yeah, pretty good overall. And hey, and some website, including D4 people who have been, in Season 1 especially, fairly critical of the game. I was talking to them, and they were saying from their perspective, running their communities, their channels, their, websites, that they genuinely are saying, oh my god. Basically, the thing the D4 creators and publishers say to each other is, oh my god, why did it not launch like Season 2? So I think that does say everything, and even now we're seeing Blizzard rolling out XP weekends and stuff like that are throwing in more generosity into a season that itself is fairly generously paced. It is actually brisk. But to go to this then.
That is a little... I mean, that's just a small piece there. It really feels like they've been shoving a lot of generosity, and it... Again, it kind of feels like trying to throw some band-aids or pieces or whatever there. It's like something to get you back, a little hook and sink, whatever, just to like pull you in for a little bit, and then it'll be the next one, and
right. Surveys. Surveys are a vital part of when you're doing games at this scale, because you got to make big decisions and you got to make those decisions fairly accurately. And in a way, these surveys are a double-edged thing. Recently, I was in Universal Studios, and that led to us now getting some surveys. But the kind of neat thing is, we do get a little bit of a glimpse into what Universal are doing in the future, even though it all does say, confidential, do not share. Now, as for this, which, yes, confidential, do not share, but it was not sent to me by Blizzard. It was sent to me by...
Alright. So here we can immediately see some potential pieces. We'll let him go through it.
Yeah, a small little bird that flew in my window one day and said hello.
Wow.
Good luck, Blizzard legal department. You'll have to sue the bird, not me. So, let's take a look then. Basically, this is the cost of an expansion, right? Between $69.99, $49.99, $79.99, and a delicious $99.99. This is, of course, them trying to work out how do people actually value things, right?
It's all about clickbait and negativity against everything. I mean, if this is a real survey sent out...
They basically get to do, well, I would say A-B testing, but here it's sort of, well, A-B through D testing. Now, hero skins, right? A cosmetic armor that doesn't include stats with one...
So the first thing, let's just start at the top. Price of the expansion Option A being 70, I feel like makes the most sense for option A, because this is what I believe. This is how much D4 was, right? And so I believe they're going to try and do each expansion at like 70 as well. This is what I was expecting them to try and sell expansions at. B, C, and D, this is, of course, in the survey trying to gauge where the sweet spot is for all of the stuff. Now, before we dive into all of the little pieces of this, I just want to give a little piece with how I believe gaming and everything goes. Number one, there better not be pay to win in this. You keep that pay to win garbage in your mobile trash games, right? We have Diablo Immortal. That goes over there. You bring that stuff into games like D4 and stuff, that's awful. Number two, a $70 expansion, I think especially looking at where Diablo 4 is right now and how they're trying to get out in 2024 and all of that, seems kind of excessive. It's like the base game already was kind of being a little excessive at that price because it was kind of undercooked. And so now it's like you're trying to get me to spend $70 more when your base game came out and was missing so much content and is now getting kind of content rolled into it, but there's still a lot to be done. So I feel like that, number two, like that's already getting to an excessive point for expansion money. I think that's just a lot anyways for an expansion, unless this is like a whole new game, right? Number three, and this one I think is a big important piece, is there's kind of two paths you can take in the PC market. The first path is free to play, but then you can kind of charge a little bit more for things like stash tabs or for the cosmetics or whatever things, right? Path of Exile is, of course, the shining example of this. You can start right now. You can play that game for free. There is so much content that you can access for free. But if you want to look pretty, if you want to get extra stash tabs, which the stash tabs are nice, and myself and Zizra and a couple other people kind of call them pay to win a little bit, but like whatever, it's, you can do stash tabs and kind of get away on that edge because you're giving away this whole free game. Or you can do something like Diablo 4 or other games where you sell a expensive full price base game and then you put the content in said game. Now, cosmetics, of course, still just get sold. And this is something where, okay, D4s are a little bit expensive, I would say. But like, you get it kind of over in this way, but you don't get to like sell the stash tabs. You don't get to do all these extra sale pieces within there. And Diablo 4 was already pushing it with the battle pass and with, the elixirs that come with that and the cosmetics and all of that. They were already, in my opinion, starting to push the monetization to an uncomfortable, like, you're trying to double, triple dip here. If the game is going to be this full price game, make it a solid full price game. I mean, look at the other solid full price games that are coming out and they have all the content in and they have all the things. So it's kind of like in the one side, you can kind of make the user experience a little worse, right? Like stash tabs in Path of Exile. Again, stash tabs are just the easiest way to like show it. In Path of Exile, playing through the entire game, and if you put hundreds of hours in with no stash tabs, it's going to feel bad. Like having a currency tab, having a map tab, having these various tabs is very helpful. They hold those away from you, and then you can buy them to add them in. That's kind of like you buying the game is you buying the stash tabs, right? So, on the other hand, when you go to something like D4, you've already bought the game. So in that case, you should have the stash tabs that are necessary and make you feel okay. That should not be an icky experience in any capacity. If that experience feels terrible and it feels like, oh, I need more stash space and oh, I need stash space for currency and all these things, and they're like, we can sell that to you as well. Well, now you're double dipping, triple dipping, all of this. You're crossing the line again. So you really have these two paths and you got to kind of pick a lane. D4 is already starting to get out of this lane, and if there's stash tabs in here, I'm going to be upset. I just want to throw that. Sorry, that was a rant. Let's go.
Every class. And yeah, so that's one of the things they're testing. The other one is a mount, a new mount type other than a horse.
So, hero skin, cosmetic armor, including 6 variations, 1 for each class. That seems fine. Throw that in there. Mount, a new mount type other than a horse. Could come with additional features such as gaining new cosmetic upgrades for completing in-game achievements. Again, continuing with the same piece, that sounds fine enough to me. So long as this mount doesn't have any, like, boost. Like, this mount is 50% faster than a horse or something. You get into that range, and now it's getting, like, right?
Horse could come with additional features such as gaining cosmetic upgrades for completing in-game achievements. Now that is actually something they have done with World of Warcraft Dragonflight. Well, no, the War Within. Basically, the mount that you get for either the Heroic or Epic Edition, you get them out instantly, but there's also a quest line in-game. When you complete the quest line, you unlock some lightning effects. Overall, as far as I'm concerned, it's like, yeah, the mount comes with some dragon riding races, and it's actually kind of fun, so I don't really mind that. If you're going to sell a store mount, you may as well sell a good one. It's almost like the same rule that goes on with some of those League of Legends skins. It's like, if you're going to sell skins, and that's going to be the thing you do, you better make them a full retheme, new sounds, new animations, the whole shebang in the Christmas sync. Also, an instant delivery of platinum, the in-game currency. Also, platinum per season. So basically, just being drip-fed.
A set amount of currencies for Diablo 4's Connect will be issued to your account with the release of each season to buy your favorite cosmetic items. I mean, that's getting a little, you know, icky, but, like, still fine. But, of course, you know, it's like he says, they're dripping it. So it's like, ooh, you got to log in. You got to come back every season.
Bad. X amount of platinum per season for that expansion. That's a fairly genius way of trying to lock people in for more. Also, some...
All right, a cosmetic
wings. Now,
wings.
This is where we learn a bit more about how these surveys are done, because you can see here in the $69.99 expansion, no hero skin, no mount, some platinum, no yearly platinum, wings, 4-day early access, a functional item platinum.
All right, hold up. He's going over things. Battle Pass, access to the premium track. Yeah, I mean, wings and stuff, whatever. It's just turning D3. Access to the premium track of the Battle Pass, which comes with more rewards than the free track. Right. So just this, a full year, 4-season accelerated Battle Pass, $100 value. 1 premium Battle Pass, full year, 4-season premium Battle Pass. Oh, this is the accelerated. Oh. It's really interesting that how they've mixed and matched all the pieces. But... okay, so just trying to give you battle passes. Again, this really feels like the piece where they're trying to drip it over a long time. Early access. Early access to the game 4 days before launch. I really hate this part. Also, what does that even mean? That's just the launch day. If you're selling an expansion, but if you buy the expansion, you get access to it 4 days before, then what is it supposed to mean? I don't understand. That's just, the launch day is just 4 days earlier. Unless they're making you pay additional again. And every expansion, they're going to make you pay additional money to play the game 4 days prior to other people. If that's true, that's really annoying. I already hated that at the start. That's super annoying. Okay.
No yearly platinum.
Companion. Non-player companion that accompanies you in game, providing some conveniences and utility, such as access to your stash or gold pickups. 1 season before launch. I mean, that's just... that is just pay to win, right? Like... You just get a companion? So in these instances... it's a D3 pet, but you have to buy it, and then you would get it before the launch of the expansion, it seems. Like, if this just comes for everybody, if everybody just gets a pet, that just pets are part of the expansion, then sure. But if you're actually getting to buy this companion earlier, then again, it's like early access. So that's again starting to cross a line. Yeah, maybe everybody gets it, but you get it earlier if you pre-order one season before launch, it seems like. So that season is just kind of a little bit. And again, there are degrees of pay to win. There is pay to win where I can literally just spend money to gain direct power, and there is pay to win where I spend money to gain conveniences that save me time that other people then have to invest more time into. So this is a lower degree. Okay.
Wings, 4-day early access,
a new unique appearance for your time portal, that's fine.
Functional item,
early access to a functional
and of course the base
item
game being included. But
wait, go back to that. Early access to a functional item in game. All right, I mean now we've just jumped the shark on it, right? Such as a unique piece of gear or a legendary aspect before it's released during the expansion. So you're just buying a unique or a legendary aspect that nobody else gets access to. Now, the first thing I immediately think of is when like MOBAs would sell heroes, or any game would sell new heroes, and then nerf the hero once it gets to the point where everybody can use it, and then they release another overpowered hero, and then kind of keep that going. That's the first thought I have. Now, is that the case of how this would go? Who knows? But I mean, early access to a functional item literally right there would be just straight up paying to win. And then, oh my god, I just saw below it additional stash tabs. Extra space to hold your loot. 1, 2, 2. They're not even saying the tabs are like a currency tab or a tab that's really good for all of these pieces. They're just like a tab.
A functional item, stash space, and of course the base game being included, but a full year 4-season accelerated battle pass of $100 value. And that obviously battle pass is being game, providing some conveniences and utility, such as access to your stash or gold pickups. Yeah, ouch. And the two options here are 1 season before launch and 1 season before launch. So that's weird. And 1 season before launch, does that mean like the final season of base D4? And also, this is selling convenience. Obviously this is something that they're looking into. It's an idea that they have. Why else would it be here on this survey? To that, I must say, I am a bit suspicious, but it gets worse. There's a temporal skin, that's totally fine. And early access.
Let's see what it says on this, and then we'll move on.
Early access to a functional item in-game, such as a unique piece of gear or a legendary aspect before it's released during the expansion. So, of course, you can have uniques, which are some of the best gear in the game, and then legendary aspects, which are those major effects on your character. This is the idea that if you pre-order the expansion, which, of course, pre-orders, comes out in a year from now. So what would this be? You just get access to an aspect for a year earlier? Would this be access to an aspect for a season earlier? I don't know, but that is turbo scum that they're even thinking about it. Also, stash space. Yeah, 1 or 2 stash tabs, and that, friends, does it extremely frustrates me, because this is core game functionality, and look, you can buy stash tabs in a game like Path of Exile, but it's free to...
He's going to go on the same rant I'm going to go on with it. Yeah, I don't want to spend a year on this or anything. I'm going to give some trust over here. I'm looking the Blizzard devs in the eyes. And I'm saying, Blizzard developers, y'all came to me and you said, there will not be pay to win in this game. And I still trust that that is true because you guys were adamant about that. It was talked about behind closed doors, in the public, all over, everywhere that it exists. And this was in each one of the forum posts going out over the course of years, you hammered home. We will not have pay for power. You will not be paying to win for this. That will not exist in this game. And I still, despite we've had our differences around Diablo 4, around what we believe itemization should look like around the content of the game and all various pieces. We've had our differences and all of that. But I believe you guys that you will not implement these features. I think a marketing monetization team that didn't even talk to the developers that much, maybe talked to one dude and just asked questions about it, came up with this brainstorm, put together this survey, and shipped this puppy out. I truly believe that is how this went. And it is just floating around there, and it's just got a bunch of random shots in the dark. Hey player, would you play for this? Would you pay for that? Would you buy an item?
This chat are so ungrateful.
They're trying to
Blizzard
gauge
has been working so
all
hard.
of these pieces. Hold on, okay. And I think it's that. So I'm gonna stick up for the dev team of Diablo because they promised me, they promised all of us, there will not be pay to win in this game. And I believe they fully understand that buying an item, a functional item or aspect, or buying a companion that other people don't have access to, that gives you advantages, is pay to win. I think they understand that, and I don't think they're going to bring it into the game. I think this is a hoax of a survey created by corporate. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I think it's disheartening to see this survey for sure, because it's got a lot of ick on it already. From the top of trying to potentially sell an expansion for $70 to $100, again, on a game that is got a lot of work just in the base game. Like, let's just get the game good and focus there and all that. Again, it's the pushing. Obviously, time will tell, but I'm gonna stick up for them and believe in them and believe that they're not going to sell us stash tabs. They are not going to sell us companions pre anybody else getting a companion. And they are not going to sell us functional items in the game before other people could access said functional items. Those are the three things that I'm going to stick up and say they're not doing. And if they do any of those three things, I will be extremely disappointed and feel completely lied to because they harped so much on it. Am I trying to guilt trip them? I'm just letting them know where I stand right now, so there is no surprises in the future if that is one of those things is to happen for me to be very upset about it. And that's fine. Again, they don't, as they're a giant billion-dollar company, they don't care about me that much. But I'm just letting them know. I'm just letting them know. Because, anywho,